This resolve is entirely consistent with the President's remarks at the Area Consultative Forum.
A warm welcome to our viewers across Nigeria.
Political responsibility and moral urgency. The House recognizes.
A warm welcome to our viewers across Nigeria and the world as you join the NTA for this live broadcast of a special plenary session from the National Assembly. We are reaching you with live signals from the House of Representatives, which is set to commence a special plenary session dedicated solely to reviewing Nigeria's national security situation with a goal to strengthen the legislative response to existing and emerging security threats in the country. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, is presiding over this special plenary, which will consider reports and presentations on the security situation from lawmakers who are representatives of the people across geopolitical zones of the country. The House during this session will receive presentations from its committees on defense, national security and intelligence, police affairs, interior, as well as the Committee on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness. It is expected that zonal and regional caucus leaders will also present briefings on the security situations in their geopolitical zones. And no doubt the security challenges in the country are multidimensional, hydra-headed, you may want to say, and these have been brought to the attention of Parliament in recent times. It is expected that the deliberations of today will lead to the adoption of a comprehensive security strategy and resolution that will be transmitted to the executive arm of government, and of course the resolution will spell out coordinated action plans expected by the security forces, as well as oversight, benchmarks and action plans on the part of the legislature. So we just ask you to sit back and join us as we continue in this special plenary session by the House of Representatives.
Are not only coordinated but designed to destabilize our country. They aim to create the impression that violent groups can act without restraint. They focus on soft and vulnerable targets. Their purpose is to instill fear, weaken public confidence, and give the illusion of being everywhere at once. Nigeria must reject this tactic. We must resist fear and stand firm against those who rely on cruelty and spectacle to advance their evil ideologies. Alongside the violence, another threat is emerging. False information spreads rapidly. Unverified claims and fake images can escalate tension and undermine security efforts. Misleading posts on social media can inflame communities, cause panic, and erode trust in institutions. I urge Nigerians to rely on official sources and reputable news outlets. I also ask members of this House to be cautious about what we share. Our world must promote stability, not add confusion. Honorable colleagues, since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office, his administration has taken steps to reform the security architecture. There has been a shift in coordination among the services and a more deliberate effort to regain the initiative. Evidence shows that these reforms have produced results. Thousands of captives have been freed. High-ranking commanders linked to violent networks have been eliminated. Millions of displaced people have returned to their communities. There was also a measurable decline in some categories of mass abductions and kidnappings. These gains reminded us that progress is possible when strategy, coordination, and political will converge. We must, however, accept that certain forms of violence have resurfaced in different parts of the country and are evolving rapidly. The roots of this resurgence lie both within and beyond our borders. The Sahel has undergone significant upheaval. Changes of government in Mali, Burkina Faso, and the Niger Republic have created ungoverned spaces that armed groups now exploit. Illegal arms trafficking has increased. Nigeria, therefore, faces domestic and transnational pressures that require an integrated response. Amid these challenges, international developments also deserve our careful attention. The Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025 was introduced in the United States Congress, which places Nigeria on the list of countries of particular concern. The bill suggests that Nigeria permits or encourages religious persecution. Members may recall that this House extensively debated and unanimously rejected the claims. The government of Nigeria does not and will never support or sponsor violence against its own citizens. We conveyed our resolution to the United States Congress, the Department of State, and the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom. It is therefore important to restate Nigeria's actual security reality. Over the past 15 years, the government has invested significant resources in confronting insurgency and widespread violence. It is true that in some communities, Christians have been targeted, just as Muslims communities have suffered similar attacks in others. These acts have been carried out by violent groups pursuing their own agendas. They do not reflect the policy or practice of the Nigerian state. Terrorism, banditry, communal clashes, and extremist violence have brought suffering to Nigerians of all faiths. Our Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, and every institution of government remains committed to protecting that right. With this context in mind, Nigeria continues to welcome partnership and constructive engagements. At the same time, we cannot accept conclusions that do not reflect the complexities of our security challenges. Our response to the Religious Freedom Accountability Bill has been calm and measured. We are mindful of our long-standing relationship with the United States. I wish to affirm that dialogue is more productive than recrimination. As highlighted, a recent meeting between the National Security Advisor, Nuribado, and the United States Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, we are prepared to collaborate with partners on intelligence sharing, counterterrorism training, surveillance technology, and the disruption of financial networks linked to violent groups. Nigeria's security history carries its own hard truth, but it also contains moments when partners step forward at decisive hours. During his presidency, from 2017 to 2021, President Donald Trump broke with the hesitation of earlier administrations. He authorized the sale of the A-29 Super Tucano aircraft, a platform that transformed aspects of our counterterrorism operations. At a time when Nigeria struggled to access essential equipment, he was willing to do what others would not do. That decision mattered It saved lives, strengthened our capacities and our capabilities, and signaled that Nigeria's fight against terror was not ours alone to bear. This history gives particular weight to his renewed interest in Nigeria today. It is an encouraging signal that the door may once again be open for deeper security cooperation, free from all constraints, more attuned to Nigeria's realities, and shaped by mutual respect. A more confident engagement from the United States, championed by President Trump, will support Nigeria's efforts to modernize equipment, reinforce training, and strengthen accountability systems. Nigeria welcomes these prospects and is prepared to work transparently and responsibly with American institutions. Our sovereignty remains non-negotiable. A partnership, especially when extended in good faith, can allow both countries to face shared threats with greater clarity and purpose. My dear honorable colleagues, as we begin this session, I want to make our purpose clear. This session is not convened to attack the government or any individual or to assign blame. We have seen far too much of that in recent weeks, both at home and abroad. This session has a more constructive purpose. It is intended to provide a frank and calm assessment of our security situation and to support the work of the President and the Executive. Our goal is to offer practical recommendations that strengthen the national response. I wish to remind members that today's debate will be conducted in accordance with the House standing orders. These rules emphasize discipline, decorum, and full respect for the chamber. Members wishing to speak should forward their written submissions through the designated floor clerks. Honorable colleagues, Nigerians expect leadership that rises above partisanship and speak with one voice at moments like this. Our work debate today must reinforce our commitment to the safety of every citizen and support the efforts of the President and the Executive. This is not a party affair, but a national discourse. Our contributions should be tailored to strengthen Nigeria's collective response to these attacks. Above all, our conduct must show that these acts of violence would not weaken our resolve or undermine our unity. I thank you all for your attention. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, that opening remarks by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, sets the tone for this special plenary session by the House of Representatives to deliberate on the national security situation. The President, the Speaker, I beg your pardon, has made it clear that Nigeria's sovereignty remains non-negotiable and that the interest of the United States in the security situation in Nigeria perhaps may just be a signal to reopen cooperation and bilateral ties and relations with the United States of America for mutual cooperation on issues of security. The Speaker has also made it clear that the debate today will be conducted in line with the House standing orders to ensure that there is decorum and order on the floor of the House.
Leader of the House, you have the floor.
Thank you, great Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I'm Professor Julius Ihonvere.
Please, just a minute, Leader. Please, members, anyone who has a submission, a motion, please approach the clerk and give your submission in writing. We'll recognize you in due course to speak. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. And I represent the very good people of Owan Federal Constituency in Edo State. Mr. Speaker, you know, a time comes when the people must look at the past, the present, and collectively decide how they want to go into the future.
Please say something. Say something. Like that man.
All right. Spokesman of the House, Akin Rotimi, told us earlier that this special plenary session will afford members of the House of Representatives to reflect, of course, without holding back, on the security situation at their various federal constituencies, and also speak and contribute constructively to forging a concerted solution to the security challenges in the country. Of course, talking about the security challenges in the country, they are multi-dimensional. On one hand, insurgency, banditry, kidnappings for ransom, and pockets of criminality in parts of the country. These have come up in Parliament, specifically in the House of Representatives, as matters of urgent public importance, presented by lawmakers whose constituents are directly or indirectly victims of armed attacks in the hinterland. We recall that there is hardly any plenary day that 1 minute silence is not observed for victims of insurgency or armed attacks in some parts of the country, especially in the northern geopolitical zones. All these culminated recently to abductions of school children in Niger and Kebbi states, as well as abduction of worshippers in Kwara. Thankfully, the worshippers in Kwara and some of the school children have regained their freedom from captivity, with hope for others who are still in captivity to regain their freedom as well. And all these issues have prompted the leadership of the House to set aside today to deliberate extensively on the state of security in the country. And this is consistent with the commitment of the 10th House of Representatives to openness, to public trust, and to proceedings that will be made open and transparent to the entire citizenry of the country.
Whatever location, desire peace, stability, in order to reach the highest points of their productive and creative abilities. We're in agreement here on this issue. But what are the trends and what are the realities that we face as a people? We recognize that today we face multifaceted security threats across the country. We also recognize the displacement of families and even communities. Fatalities remain high, reaching up to 9,500 in 2024, and these are reported and recorded cases, could be higher. Even the Global Terrorism Index places Nigeria 6th as the 6th most impacted country globally by terrorism. Now it is not just a question of
Honorable Benson, can you come back to your seat, please?
We have the Islamic State West Africa province, ISWAP.
Sit down, please.
And other
sit properly.
Copycat gangs ravaging different parts of the country. We have experienced mass killings, kidnappings for ransom, banditry, criminal violence. Today, it's reported by ACLED that we have over 24,000 violent incidents between December 2023 and November 2024. Now, this is frightening. What has been the general response from government? And the pictures I will be painting is a broad canvas. The specificities in your respective communities and constituencies may differ. But there has been consistent, intensified operations and deployment of troops. We've experienced recruitment and training, change of service chiefs in order to ginger the leadership of the security agencies, massive increase in defense spending and acquisition of military platforms, including helicopters and drones, the attack helicopters. The speaker mentioned even heavy expenses to acquire Tucano jets. And the last time I checked, I understand we have about 8 of these. The use of new technology. There is now a recognition that just a direct military engagement may not solve this problem. There is an urgent need for what is now popularly called the non-kinetic, because at the end of the day, some communities and individuals are involved in encouraging insecurity in different forms. The government has tried in arresting, in prosecuting, rehabilitating, reintegrating some of the insurgents in different locations. Mr. Speaker, in the Northeast, for example, both Boko Haram and ISWAP continue to terrorize communities without letting up, in spite of engagement.
Honorable Leke.
The Lake Chad Basin and Sambisa forests remain launching pads for sporadic attacks and criminal activity. Terrorists continue to attack soft targets, particularly farmers and fishermen, particularly on the Lake Chad. In spite of this, government, talking broadly, has responded with heavy military offensive, with thousands surrendering. Precision airstrikes continue, but we still have up to 1.5 million persons in IDP camps. The Northeast Development Commission, just to mention one agency, is contributing massively to rehabilitation and reintegration. Through the Operation Safe Corridor, many have returned home. But insecurity remains of concern. Similarly, in the Northwest, what people used to talk about cattle rustling and so on and so forth has become what is now referred to as full-blown banditry by criminal gangs, now designated as terrorist groups by the Nigerian government. They continue to terrorize villages, encourage highway ambush and robbery. They continue to operate from forest enclaves like Rugu and Kuyambana. April, May 2023 and April 2024, over 2.2 million incidents of kidnapping. Again, these are not including failed efforts. The government is not relaxing. It is also responding with joint military operations, Operation Hardin Daji and Operation Thunder Strike, for example, have been launched to respond to this. While it is recognized that in this zone the military is overstretched, recruitment continues, and the use of the T-129 attack helicopters continues to have significant effect in dislodging them. Local peace building, peace committees, and the mobilization of marginalized young people is also continuing. If you take the North Central, ethnic and farmer header clashes, but they suffer from what is called the spillover effect of insecurity from the Northwest and the Northeast. As they are dislodged in both regions, they move down and come to the North Central. And we have witnessed and listened to unbelievable and unimaginable killings in the North Central. Now, the government has also responded there, not only by deploying service chiefs, security chiefs in that zone, but also launched Operation Wild Stroke. And the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps launched the Agro Rangers to protect and guide farmers so they can return to their farms. Of course, farmers have been displaced, communities deserted, there's a food crisis, the economy faces devastation. In the Southeast, quickly, separatist unrest, criminality, and weaponization for legitimate agitations continue. IPOB and Eastern Security Network and the sit-at-home order, attacks on public infrastructure like INEC offices and police stations, the unknown government put fear in the minds of people, affecting their businesses through kidnappings, robbery, and assassinations. All kinds of ragtag copycat groups calling themselves vigilantes and avengers emerge, with far-reaching implications for the local economy in the Southeast. The Nnamdi Kanu issue remains a sore point, and I'm happy to see that on this floor we have 42 members who have signed a document and addressed a press conference, including the Deputy Speaker who has issued a statement calling for a political solution to the problem. The Abuja regional security does not seem to have had much impact, but it reflects a commitment by state governments to also respond. And I think if the Southeast Development Commission were to come aboard, it will work just like the Northeast Development Commission. In the South-South, militancy has reduced, so is insurgency, with no pipeline bombings recorded. This is because of the role of ex-militants and the dialogue with government. The Tantita security arrangement has secured most of our pipelines, and this has enabled oil production to go up. Crude oil theft continues with sophisticated system, illegal bunkering, piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, cultism and gang violence in the South-South, kidnappings and community attacks. The response has been robust by government. The NDDC continues to put up a holistic approach, trying to empower communities and the youth in the zone. So is the amnesty program and the HIPREP. So again, if the South-South Development Commission comes on board, that response from the bottom up would deny the people involved in insurgency recruits. The Navy in the South-South is doing well with the Total Maritime Strategy, which is technology-based, and cooperating with regional navies to ensure that bunkering is controlled. Yet, the South-South continues to suffer from environmental pollution, gas flaring, the unresolved Ogoni issue, and massive youth unemployment. Finally, the Southwest, apparently the most stable region in the country today, the states have invested heavily in regional security, and their Moteco security arrangement appears to be doing fairly well. Urban security challenges continue, with robberies, cults, civil unrest in urban areas.
Honorable Jimmy Benson, please can you approach the chair?
Weaponized headers and copycat gangs continue to terrorize some communities in Edo and Delta. But community security is taken more seriously, and the agitation for state police to build on effective neighborhood watch, as in the case of Lagos, illegal arms influx via the ports and borders, and the use of traditional institutions to deal with unrest. Mr. Speaker, this is a broad canvas showing that in the 6 geopolitical zones of this country, there is none that is left out, but there is none where there is no government response as well. In the House and National Assembly, we have equally responded to the issue of insecurity with countless motions and bills to restructure the police force, to amend the Nigerian Army Act, and so on and so forth. We've appropriated more money for defense, and we've held several consultations with service chiefs in order to better understand the challenges they face. The House committees on security agencies have come up with the following solutions, which we've tried to implement. The modernization of defense architecture by amending the Armed Forces Act, which has gone through second reading, and I believe would help. They've also talked about the need to sharpen the roles of service chiefs, promote coordination and reduce or eliminate rivalry between the agencies, promote accountability. The recent announcement about the need to withdraw the police from VIPs.
Honorable Leke Joseph, please.
And the need to promote intelligence gathering at the community level. Mr. Speaker, the government's emphasis on the welfare for security officers is critical to their performance in the field. And I believe particularly the police and the civil defense forces. Let me wrap up by stressing on what must be done or what needs to be done better. At the beginning, I talked about the need for political will and the need for consistency in policy and programs. Mr. Speaker.
Order, please.
Government is still committed to naming and sanctioning the financiers of insurgency and banditry. From what we learned, investigations are going on before these identities are revealed to the public. The prosecution of bandits and terrorists that are arrested is continuing. We also, in government, decide that there's a need to leverage more on new technology. Security of schools, and what has happened recently shows that there's very little security, in spite of the Safe Schools project. Even just to do perimeter fencing, but it is not the responsibility of the federal government alone. States and local governments must come into this, and I believe that from this House, through budgeting, we can lay direction for states and local governments to put in perimeter fencing in all schools, particularly primary and secondary. A clear victim support mechanism is important. Institutionalization of peace-building systems using local institutions. Traditional rulers have demonstrated their willingness to work with government to do this. Some of these bandits live in communities. They are not spirits, and people know them. But people are afraid to identify them publicly. The government must also continue, and is willing to continue, the mop-up of weapons. So far, over 150 assorted forms of weapons have been recovered from the south of Nigeria. Discouraging ransom payments to bandits. I know it's difficult, it's easier to say. But when you pay these ransoms, they use them to acquire more weapons and kidnap more and invade more communities. So we have to strike a balance as to where we stand on the issue. But government is of the position not to pay ransom to bandits and criminals. Institutionalization of the early warning system. Government continues to work on this. And they welcome the recent understanding between the United States and the Nigerian delegation led by the National Security Advisor. Of course, the details are not going to be spelled out in public, but we rest assured that the government has every intention to build on that understanding that has been recently publicized and reached, all in the interest of dealing with security. Then, finally, Mr. Speaker, the issue of security in Nigeria is not something that will be solved in Aso Rock alone or in this parliament alone. All Nigerians have to enroll into an agenda, a program, a movement, and a commitment to deal with insecurity. And if we do not do that in our respective areas of influence, we cannot effectively engage with these bandits and criminals. Those involved in most of these are our children, they are our constituents. So the way we deploy our own projects, our own resources, our relationship with institutions and structures, religious institutions, traditional institutions, have far-reaching implications for whether we are able to address the question of security or insecurity in our respective constituencies. Mr. Speaker, I believe that when the relevant committees speak and my other colleagues give their lived experiences in their communities, we will get more hands-on situation of what is going on in the country. But so far, the government is 100% ready to take suggestions from members of the House in order to continue the fight against insurgency in Nigeria. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
And of course, as it is traditional, the leader of the House, Julius Ihonwere, has led the debate as the House deliberates on the security situation in the country. He has painted what he calls a broad canvas, a picture of the security situation in the country, indicating that across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, none is left out of one security challenge or Abuja, the leadership of the security agencies, enhance defense spendings and acquisition of military platforms, including helicopters and drones. He, however, stresses the need to leverage more new technology, particularly for intelligence gathering, and the need for partnership among tiers of government, and also the need for non-kinetic approach to solving the nation's security challenges. Of course, he stressed the need to discourage ransom payments to terrorists and criminals. We have the minority leader of the House, Kingsley Chinda, speaking right now on the floor.
Does this not appear to be the life of a Nigerian today? Replete with fear, uncertainty. We can no longer travel by road in our own country. In fact, when your relative or anybody that is close to you attempts to do that, you will be in prayers until such a person arrives. It is because of this situation that men agreed to give up their sovereignty and set up a government. It is that sovereignty that Nigerians have given up that has brought only 360 men together to sit here and ensure that we protect the lives and property of all Nigerians. Let me quickly refer us to our constitutional provision, section 14, subsection 2B, which provides the essence, the purport, and the purpose of government. That is protection of lives and property of citizens. In so doing, as a Christian, I will further refer you to a Bible quotation. I'll take you to Matthew chapter 5, verse 13, which tells us that we are the salt of the earth. But the Bible says that if a salt loses its saltness, of what use is it? It is good to be trampled upon. It becomes useless and no longer salt. I use this to analyze, considering our major function. And by the way, remember, my dear colleagues, that government, elementary government is made up of three arms. The executive, the legislature, where we fall in, and the judiciary. So when we talk about government, we are fully involved as members of the executive arm. And so when we point one finger, 4 points at us. First, if we cannot protect the lives and property of Nigerians as enshrined in our Constitution, are we worthy to continue to sit as a parliament? I'm not saying that all hopes are lost. No. There is room for remedy. But we must see this as a national tax and be selfless about it. This is no time for religion. This is no time for political party. This is the time for us to talk about our own lives and existence. We are given opportunity out of a country of over 200 million, as we have in the figures, which might not also be correct because of lack of data, adequate data in our country. And we are among 360 that is saddled with the responsibility. How well have you performed that responsibility? That's the question that we are called upon to ask ourselves this morning. Insecurity is ravaging the entire country. Yes, the world is becoming a global village. And so if we are unable to secure our country, other countries will be concerned because they will be affected. If Nigeria is classed as a country of particular concern, as a parliament, I think what we are gathered here this morning is to to seek for solution to remove Nigeria from that classification. And I pray that the Almighty will give us the wisdom to achieve that. Now, looking at the causes of insecurity in our country, first, I will caution us that we must eschew completely the disunity that appears to be breeding, whether there is genocide, religious genocide, or not. We begin to look at it from the angle of Christians and Muslims. To whose advantage? When we are not united, to whose benefit? Is it in our own interest? We cannot fight this battle without unity. We cannot also succeed in this battle if we deny obvious facts. Let me start by asking, are there religious killings in Nigeria? The answer is yes. But is that the major cause of insecurity in our country? The answer is also no. Whilst there are religious killings, it will amount to painting the insecurity issue with a single brush to say that that is the only reason why we have insecurity. Today in our country, you have the economic aspect of insecurity, where people, for economic reasons, will attack communities, kill, maim, displace entire community in order to access the wealth that is within that place. And that's why you can see displaced areas. People live in IDP. Economic operation is going on there. As a government, do we say that we are not aware? And what are we doing? What about the political aspect? Incidentally, we find ourselves in that field. We are all politicians. Because we want to assume political power. We want to do everything to displace the opponent. You make the entire government ungovernable. Bring in people from outside the shores of this country because our borders are porous. We only have boundaries on the map. On ground, Nigeria lacks clear boundaries. They are not protected, they are open. We bring them in to strengthen us politically. Managing them thereafter became a problem. There is the political angle to it. And we must tell ourselves the truth. So that if we are managing the problems, we know how to manage them. And like I have said, you also have the religious angle. There are religious bodies, the ISIS or ISWAP and all that. They are not sent by Nigerians, but they have their targets, they have their own vision. Perhaps their belief. All you need to do is to not to remove the doctrination that they have already. Because they could believe in that yes, anybody that is not a Muslim must be killed. If that is their belief, and they are convinced, we need to do a reorientation to change that belief. My dear colleagues, the tax is Herculean, very heavy, because we cannot pretend that we do not have insecurity problems in this country. And the solution ought to come from us, all of us seated here, not from Nigerians outside here. But we must own up to the truth. How well are we doing? How well are we tackling this problem? When I hear people praise government, government is doing well. Are we sincere? Government is still sleeping. Nothing fundamental has been done. Nothing. We cannot continue with the fire brigade approach. Must we wait until our children are kidnapped before we take steps? And when 20 are kidnapped, we recover 2. We beat our chest that we are achieving. What about the 18? Dear colleagues, we recall, there is no week that this chamber has not discussed the issue of insecurity. Not 1 week without a motion on insecurity. And at the end of the day, all we do is observe 1 minute silence. I think that the time has come for us to unite, if not as a country, as parliamentarians. Remove the toga of religion, remove the toga of political parties, and wear the toga of Nigeria. Whoever is affected should not be our concern, but we must salvage our country. We must salvage ourselves. We must begin to go home freely. We must find solutions to ensure that Nigerians sleep with their 2 eyes closed. Firstly, let me suggest that the time has come for us to start looking at having a national border force. We should. When we hear countries talk about fencing their borders, sometimes we laugh over it. It sounds funny. But it is not. We do not have a border force in Nigeria. And I think it is our role as parliamentarians to quickly, as a solution, come up with a bill and ensure that that bill passes with the speed of light to begin to protect our borders. Not just by physical protection. Like I said, the world is a global village today. There are technologies that will help us. A border force that is based on technology.
Honorable David, please can you find your seat? Honorable David, Kalambaina. Honorable Badao, please can you find your seats? Honorable Gadi, please find your seat. Honorable Gadi, please.
We also have before us the constitution amendment that is going on. Security is prominent. My dear colleagues, we don't have an option than to go back to community policing or state policing. We must begin to secure our country from every community. From every community. And as a parliament, must also begin to rise to our oversight functions. Must begin to stand our grounds. The interest of our people.
Honorable Sada, Honorable Zainab Gimba, please can you approach the chair?
And our own interest. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, a lot more on the issue of insecurity, which we cannot perhaps say facing the camera. So let us invite all the security chiefs, all, and have a closed-door meeting with them, where we can clearly talk to them, tell them the feelings of Nigerian people, ask for facts and figures, take decisions that will have strong legislative backing. You will recall that in the past, we have had to give timelines. But I will say, as a member of parliament, that my heart is heavy. Leads for Nigeria. Not happy I see it as divine that we are all called to serve at this time. Because I asked why. Why at this time? But we are called to serve at this time, and we should take the challenge. We have the ability. We have the ability to solve this problem. We have the ability to make the difference, but we must remove pride, religion, selfishness, pride, and anything that will prevent us from succeeding. And see ourselves as one. I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank you, my dear colleagues, for this opportunity. And I pray that the Almighty God will give us the wisdom to ensure that we contribute towards stabilizing this country and indeed the world at large. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chinda. It's time for the Deputy Speaker to make his contribution.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Benjamin Okezekal. I represent the good people of Nigeria, starting from Ben, the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abia State. I rise today to lend my voice to these all-important debates.
Honorable Igarue, Honorable Enolim, please approach the chair.
These all-important debates on the security situation of our country. Let me start by thanking you, Mr. Speaker, for always being innovative, and the leadership of this House for being innovative when issues like this come up, to think about having a session like this where all of us will be heard. Granting us this platform, I thank you very much, and I thank the members for agreeing for one day of our section to be dedicated to this, and for coming in your numbers, your various constituencies. It goes to show that the Parliament truly, truly cares. But today, honorable colleagues and Nigerians who are watching, it's not a day of display of eloquence. It's a day of specifically mentioning where our problems are, what we think should be done as Parliament. Because we have always argued that the Parliament remains the solution hub for our nation. And so, as you all know, Nigerian security crisis as it is at the moment demands urgent action. And I've been able to put down one or two things so that I will not forget in my presentation. I also save time for some of you who want to deliberate on this. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is my core finding, and I'm sure that of others, that Nigeria possesses strong deterrent laws. We don't have paucity of laws, we have strong laws. But what we suffer is weak institutional implementation, inadequate funding, transparency, and misalignment between policy and execution. So the solution requires structural legislative reform, not merely reactive military responses. Since we are not in the military, we are legislative arm of government. We must prefer legislative solution to the gaps that we have observed. Mr. Speaker, I will break my speech into this part. Number one is situational analysis, which I will break into escalating internal threats as well as external sovereign threats. The next one is legislative gap and strategic failures that we have. The third will be priority legislative agenda, what we need to do in the next 6 months as Parliament. And the next will be what are the messaging pillars that I would like to pass as a member of Parliament. And finally, I would like to address possible challenges and arguments that will be against my position on this issue. I promise to make them as brief as possible. On situational analysis, Mr. Speaker, or situational assessment, we have multidimensional security crisis. And on the side of escalating internal threats, we have on one hand banditry and kidnapping. Number 1, indiscriminate kidnapping targeting schools, places of worship, and communities across Zamfara, Katsina, Kebbi, and Sokoto states, amongst others. Recent incidents, abduction of schoolgirls in Kebbi, dozens of worshippers kidnapped from Zungu Mosque in Zamfara, Catholic priests abducted in Anambra in Southeast. Number 3 on that is critical development. Armed groups now imposing parallel governance structure, demanding 100 million naira in taxes from communities in Safe, local government of Zamfara state, representing a shift from criminality to insurgent administrative control. On international scrutiny, the U.S. designated Nigeria as country of particular concern, the CPC, which have been mentioned here and again, and also beautifully in your speech. The proposed Nigerian Religious Freedom Accountability Act by the U.S. Congress threatens sanctions against Nigeria, targeting mainly 12 northern governors and all the rest of them. The news is everywhere. Let us talk about institutional weakness as part of the assessment. Nigerian police force is constrained by centralized command, inadequate funding, and lack of accountability. Number 2 is military modernization, drones, potential jet acquisition, proceeding without published defense policy on robust legal framework. The next is weak border control, which have been mentioned by the minority leader here, and inter-agency cooperation, enabling illicit arms and terrorism financing. Mr. Speaker, on external sovereignty threat, the U.S. political pressure is there. Number 1, President Trump threatened military strike against Nigeria over Christian killing. Number 2, analysts view this as political theater with low operational feasibility. It creates diplomatic and reputational risk. And also Nigeria must assert sovereignty while demonstrating domestic commitment to justice. We will respect our allies, but we will maintain the dignity of our sovereignty. That is the position of the Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the second one I mentioned I will be discussing is legislative gaps and strategic failures. Number 1 on that is amnesty problem. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, despite strong anti-kidnapping laws, like life imprisonment, death penalty for kidnapping, the practice continues because it is alleged that government entities negotiate with bandits and pay ransom. That is one of the things that the House must investigate. Security analysts confirm that amnesty deals and peace negotiation, they legitimize violence, they embolden armed groups and undermine rule of law. Documented pattern across Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto shows stage ceremonies where captives are released and rusty weapons surrendered, followed by rapid resurrection or resumption of violence. What then is the legislative solution on that? The legislative solution required there is to ban unstructured amnesty negotiation and ransom payment by any government entity. Mandate criminal justice enforcement over expediency. Number 2 on that list is police funding crisis. Mr. Speaker, the Nigerian police force suffers from the following. Number 1, low budgetary allocation with incomplete and late disbursement. Number 2 is unaccounted state government and private donation creating corruption channels. Number 3 is no transparent auditing mechanism. And this is not starting with this administration, it has been there before now. So what is the impact of this? The impact of this is that operational paralysis is observed, inability to plan effectively is observed, and perpetuation of inefficiency is also recorded. What then is the legislative solution? Because for every problem, there must be a solution. The legislative solution here is to mandate sustained, predictable funding, require rigorous record keeping, and audit all Nigerian police force funds, including donation. The number 3 is centralized policing model failure. Federal-only policy model cannot meet diverse localized security needs of 36 states and 774 local governments, Mr. Speaker. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Whether we call it state police, whether we call it community police, whether we call it local government police, the need to decentralize has become very necessary. Some argue for the amendment of Section 214 of the Constitution and the second schedule. Some say leave it as it is. Whatever it is important that we consider that. The next is critical sequencing. State police reform must allow Nigerian police force accountability reform to avoid replicating dysfunctional structure at the state level. The next is drone warfare regulatory lag. Nigeria's military successfully deploys indigenous Amebo Gulma and foreign CH-4 combat drones. They've done that successfully for precision strike. But there is, Mr. Speaker, today, no legal framework governing ethical use, accountability for civilian casualties or operational transparency. There is none, sir. It's one of the legislative gaps that we must look at. And the risk is that potential human rights violations expose Nigeria to international legal scrutiny and undermine tactical gains. What then is the legislative solution that is required? We should enact comprehensive UAS operations and oversight act, known as Drone Act, mandating compliance with international targeting laws, accountability mechanisms, and independent investigation of civilian casualty incidents. That is how we can solve that problem. Let me go to my number 3 because I say it's 5 before I round up. The number 3 is priority legislative agenda. What do we need to do in our phase 1 between now and 6 months? What is the foundation of what we need to do? What is the crisis response that the Parliament needs to look into? Number 1 is anti-banditry resolution. So legally prohibit ransom negotiation and mandate criminal justice process over amnesty program. The key provisions are as follows, Mr. Speaker. Number 1, criminal penalties for government officials who negotiate ransom or authorize unstructured amnesty deals. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, is mandate prosecution through criminal justice system for all banditry suspects. Number 3, establish transparent critical criteria for any future disarmament. There is no criteria for disarmament, for demobilization and reintegration program, following proper conflict resolution protocol, not ad hoc political deals. We need to also create parliamentary oversight committee to monitor implementation. Mr. Speaker, we cannot negotiate with those who kidnap our children. Mr. Speaker, those who terrorize our community, we should not negotiate with them. That is the truth. Mr. Speaker, the next is police reform. Number 1, the objective is to ensure transparent, predictable Nigerian police force funding and regulate state-private donations. Move policing to concurrent lists if this House so decide, enabling state and local government to have a say there. And in doing that, we should provide safeguards to be able to guide that. Mr. Speaker, I say so because a police force that cannot plan beyond the next paycheck cannot protect this nation. This new plan guarantees our police the predictable, transparent funding that they need while ensuring every naira is accounted for. State police is not a silver bullet, Mr. Speaker. It is a necessary evolution of our federal system, and we should be looking at that decentralization. These are the core message of my suggestion, Mr. Speaker, the core message pillars. Number 1 is legislative leadership, not reactive politics. For too long, the National Assembly has been viewed as reactive on security matters. Today, we assert our constitutional role as the primary law-making body of this nation. These measures represent proactive, structured reform, not political theater. Sovereignty with accountability. Nigeria will never cede sovereignty to external actors, but sovereignty also demands responsibility. We will protect our citizens, prosecute perpetrators, demonstrate to the world that Nigeria solves Nigerian problems. From militarized response to institutional reform, Mr. Speaker, drones and jets have their place, but no amount of military hardware can substitute for accountable policing, for transparent funding, and for criminal justice system that actually delivers justice. The legislative agenda addresses root causes, not just symptoms. Mr. Speaker, there will be the argument as a roundup. Many will say state police will be abused by governors. Let me respond by saying that is exactly why we are building in safeguards into this law, if we choose to do that. Many will say banning amnesty negotiation is too rigid. My response, Mr. Speaker, is show me one amnesty deal in Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto, Southeast, wherever in Nigeria that has produced lasting peace. What we have seen are staged ceremonies, rusty weapons surrendered, violence resuming within months. Security experts across the spectrum argue negotiating with bandits legitimizes criminality. This act doesn't prevent disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration program. It ensures they follow proper protocol, not ad hoc political deal. As I round up finally, these reforms are expensive. That will be the argument of some of you, of my members. I will respond by saying the cause of insecurity far exceeds the cost of reform. Kidnapping, insurance premium, lost agricultural output, displaced population, closed schools, insecurity is bleeding this economic drought. Moreover, this agenda mandates transparency auditing, meaning we will finally know where security funds are actually going. Efficiency, not just expenditure. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Thank you, honorable members, for listening.
Thank you, the Deputy Speaker. The next to speak will be Honorable Baba Jimmy Benson. At this point, we are kickstarting the committee-led thematic presentations with the Committee on Defense by Honorable Baba Jimmy Benson. After him, Honorable Satome will speak for national security. Then Honorable Mikey will speak for police. Honorable Aminu will speak for Army. Navy will be Honorable Gadi. Air Force will be Honorable Alasa. And Justice, I think, who is speaking for Justice? Honorable Oshoba. That's okay. So please, it will go on in that order. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. But let me begin by commending Mr. Speaker's vision, leadership, and unwavering commitment to the safety of the nation. Mr. Speaker, indeed, we live in very interesting times. It was America who created the word VUCA. So we live in a VUCA world. VUCA means volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Mr. Speaker, today I rise not as the Chairman House Committee on Defense, but I rise as the voice of millions of Nigerians who yearn for and rightly deserve a nation that is safe, hopeful, united, and prosperous. Mr. Speaker, if you recall the days of yore, the Nigerian military has excelled in many different fronts, including Liberia, including Sierra Leone. We went into those countries with full force and with a full arsenal that were purchased under the regime of President Shagari. I repeat, we went with a full arsenal. We went, we saw, and we conquered. But we did something that no nation would ever do. We were honest. We went there to assist our sister nations. We did not stay to milk and make money out of their predicaments. Mr. Speaker, what most nations do They recoup and they replace their equipment that they've expended in those countries. Nigeria didn't do that. So we are suffering from the decay of trying to replace those equipment till date. It's been a very difficult and onerous task. We have not had friends, indeed, who will support us build the arsenal we had in the days of yore. Mr. Speaker, across the borders of our country, as a result of that, we also have issues from the Sahel region.
Order, please.
We also have issues from the Sahel region. France has left the Sahel countries and there are no boots on the ground there. Those were the armed forces of France used to prevent ISWAP and other extremists from strolling into Nigeria. They are out of that place now. And the countries there are run by military juntas. That's a big problem. We also have the problem of Libya. Ever since Gaddafi has been deposed, Libya has been in a sorry state. Light weapons and heavy-duty weapons have had a free-flow influx into Nigeria, thus exacerbating the original huge problems that we're facing. Mr. Speaker, but despite all these threats, with our strategic leadership, our growing strong institutions, and ongoing reforms, which include, as we speak, there's a grand plan to improve the welfare of the police and the armed forces. As we are here today, there's a committee set up to look into the institutions, the security architecture and institutions, the police barracks, the training institutions. That committee is led by no other than the governor of Enugu State. It's work in progress, Mr. Speaker. Again, the economy, we're hoping to grow our economy into a $1 trillion economy. The process is on. Our exchange rate is stable, our external reserve is growing, but we have frailties.
Honorable Gumi, please approach the chair.
We have frailties which has to do with security. Our security infrastructure, no doubt, needs to be stepped up in order for us to attain the eminence that our good qualities offer. Mr. Speaker, though a bullet can overcome a terrorist, only good governance, opportunity, and inclusion can overcome terrorism. Mr. Speaker, no doubt, we must begin to strengthen intelligence and early warning systems. We must begin with actionable intelligence. No modern security system succeeds without the ability to detect threats before they escalate. The House, with its committee, is working on this. The House is working on strengthening the coordination between the DIA, the DSS, the police, the NIA, and state security units. The House is working assiduously to establish regional intelligence fusion centers across the 6 geopolitical zones. The House is in support of the deployment of modern surveillance technologies, drones, sensors, and data analytics. We are proud of the meeting with the NSA and the trip to America. Tangible results have been gotten. The American government, as said by our NSA, has signed an MOU with our country to assist in providing actionable intelligence towards eradicating these bandits. Mr. Speaker, security is won not only when information flows seamlessly and rapidly, but when the information is used to take action. In this decade, research results from leading domestic and global security scholars have provided vital information in Nigeria towards peace. Evidence from such studies conclude that 80% of terrorist attacks in Nigeria occur in 3 locations: schools, religious centers, and in farms. Categorizing all schools, religious centers, and farms in each local government area based on their current and projected vulnerability is now a minimum requirement. A risk assessment, low, medium, or high risk of this location must now be a priority. It is something that the House and the Parliament should also ensure is done. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, reforming and repositioning the Nigerian police. Our Nigerian military is not overstretched. The responsibilities of the Nigerian military are overstretched. It is time to restore the police to its rightful place as the first line of internal defense. The House Committee on Defense and other committees will collaborate with the Committee on Police to advance legislation for community and state policing with strong oversight. Modernizing the armed forces. Our military remains courageous and resilient, but they must be armed not only with bravery, but with modern tools. We must immediately invest in modern warfare tools. We must immediately partner with our non-aligned friends, with America, with the EU, with China, with Pakistan.
Honorable Koko, you have been elevated to come and sit on Speaker's seat here. Honorable Koko, you have been elevated, promoted. This is your new seat now.
Let us never forget, security Security is not about how we spend on defense, but about ensuring every citizen
come over here.
feels safe in their home, their marketplace, and in their farmlands. We also need to secure our borders. The inflow of weapons, drugs, and foreign fighters continue to fuel insecurity. The House must support a strengthened border security command and integrated border management system. The House must support the resigned joint operations with Cameroon, Niger, Benin, and Chad. The House must support technology-driven checkpoints using biometrics and surveillance. Addressing the root cause is also a big solution, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was with you one day in the Nigerian Defense College where you made a comparison of when Nigeria introduced the cashless system. You said that when that system was introduced, kidnapping and banditry went down because the ability to pay for ransom became non-existent. Mr. Speaker, I believe that is a policy this House should also look into. Local government administration. Mr. Speaker, it is only in a few states in Nigeria where you see competent people, former parliamentarians, run to be local government chairmen. There's a nexus to a local government being powerful and for that state to have prosperity. Mr. Speaker, today, in most parts of Nigeria, the local government administration is run.
DS, House Leader, Minority Leader, please can you approach the chair? Go ahead, please, go ahead.
Today, Mr. Speaker, in most parts of Nigeria, local government administration has collapsed. I remember the late Lieutenant Lagbaja, the Chief of Army Staff. He said that the happiest day in his life, was when the Supreme Court passed the local government financial autonomy law. He said his men and troops fight every day to secure territories. And after securing those territories, they do not have anybody to hand over the territories to. Because in most states, some states bigger than Belgium, bigger than Togo, bigger than most countries, the only sense of administration there is in the center, the state government, the state governors. The local government are non-existent. So what we need is to ensure that the bank account and the monies that are due to local governments really duly get to the third tier of government. Mr. Speaker, if you recall, a month ago, the former governor of New York ran for election, left his seat as an executive governor, and ran to be a mayor in America. If you also recall, a local government chairman, Rudolph Giuliani, he was local government chairman of a district called Manhattan. He ran to be the president of the United States of America. Finally, if you recall, Rahm Emanuel, who was the chief of staff to Obama when he was president, ran to be local government chairman in the state of Chicago. Mr. Speaker, if we can ensure that our local government is the third tier of government indeed, it should be a non-kinetic solution of ending the recruitment process for these bandits or kidnappers. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, security is the foundation of development. Without peace,
Honorable Jimmy, can you round
without
up?
peace, there can be no investment. Without investment, there can be no prosperity. Without prosperity, there can be no stability.
Honorable Lizzie,
Without stability,
please,
there can be no safety.
can you and
Without
Honorable
safety,
Chiroma, please, come back to your seat,
there can be
please.
no future.
Chiroma Birugari,
As chairman of the House Committee on Defense, I commit
please
on
can you
behalf
find your seats?
of the committee of this House to work tirelessly with the executive, with the military leadership, with our allies and partners to deliver a strong, modern and people-centered security system for Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Nigerians who yearn for peace, we thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your foresight and your dedication to building a safer, stronger and more resilient Nigeria. Thank you for this privilege, and thank you, honorable members. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Jimmy Benson. Please, next speakers, we should be accordingly guided that because we want to give as many people as possible opportunity to speak, we need to be very economical with our words. Subsequent speakers will have a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. So whatever you need to say, please try to condense and summarize and speak within 5 minutes. Thank you very much. The next to speak is Honorable Satome. Timekeeper, look at your watch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this great initiative. I remain Engineer Satomi Ahmad, representing Jere Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Borno State. I'll go straight to the point, Mr. Speaker, to brief the Honorable Chamber. Today, we are all gathered here to discuss the security situation in our country, and so also to discuss the way forward and solution as parliamentarians and the great peoples that are representing our respective constituencies, which we suffered much from all the complaints, issues that emanating from our respective constituencies. Mr. Speaker, the Committee of National Security and Intelligence is saddled with the responsibility to oversight all issues that has to do with security, national security in our country, and precisely this Department of the State Services, Office of the National Security Advisor, the NIA, National Counterterrorism Center, etc. So far, so good. The State Security Service have been very instrumental for the various success recorded so far against the various threats in national security. They provide nationwide surveillance and deploy a sophisticated and efficient network to gather intelligence which is shared promptly with the relevant institutions and stakeholders. The security report, which covers the whole spectrum of criminal activities, provides credible and actionable intelligence to prevent criminalities before it happens or arrest culprits that are involved in criminal activities already perpetrated against the country or its law-abiding citizens. So also, the current security challenges across the country, the Office of the National Security Advisor has the capacity, the coordinator on all the national security issues, chairs weekly meeting on a joint intelligence board where the head of the intelligence agencies, military, paramilitary agencies, and other relevant strategic institutions of government met and deliberate and discuss the issues of national security in our country. The point against the various criminalities and acts of terrorism, insurgency, banditry are carried out, criminal element against Nigeria. So from our interaction with the relevant agencies in the national security architecture, we have received glowing testimonies from the heads of various agencies of the NSS support to the agencies in the executions of their mandate. So also other agencies like the National Cyber Security Center, National Counterterrorism Center, and also National Agency for Control of Small Arms and Other Light Weapons. Mr. Speaker, the committee has also engaged in the National Digital Forensic Laboratory as provided by the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act, and a lot of achievement have been recorded due to national security issues. We will submit all such documents in written to your office for the final resolutions in other sectors. Our findings and recommendations. The funding of the intelligence agencies and operations should be prioritized to complement the kinetic and non-kinetic institutions.
30 seconds.
The training institutions of the SSA NIA are also to be strengthened to enhance the competency of intelligence personnel to cope with the ever-dynamic national, global, and criminal terrorism. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I will also, as a son of soil in Borno State and one of the most heated community in the Northeast, I will tip in one or two things and commend this Honorable House for bringing such a forum for us to deliberate, discuss. Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues, we are here, 360 men representing the entire Nigeria. We may all escape the judgment of man or woman because of imperfection, but let's know there is the judgment of the Almighty. Today, our people need our voice. We are here. Mr. President has graciously, all of us, all the previous speakers have talked about funding. But we need to remember, these fundings are of three categories. There are funding for the central government that has to do with the federal government. There are funding that is going to the state.
Please.
And all these criminalities...
Round up, please. Time up.
So I have only you gave me 5 and 3 minutes. I can pinpoint 3 minutes, sir. So therefore, the state funding, Mr. Speaker, I think we need to ask, what are the governors doing with the funds given to them? The state funding is very critical at this material time. And Mr. Speaker, Mr. President has graciously, under the leadership of this honorable chamber, created 5 additional regional development. Can't we sit down and resolute that all the funding going to this regional development should henceforward prioritize the security and welfare of our people strictly on fighting against terrorism, banditry, etc., etc. Mr. Speaker, today, as a country, we need to look beyond the kinetic measures. We need to look beyond attacks and operations. Mr. Speaker, let's look at the technological aspect of the terrorism fighting. We must imbibe the culture of technology, big data, artificial intelligence, for us to proactively stop all these things and menace that is happening in our country. Mr. Speaker, you have done well, but I still call on behalf of all of us that such kind of forum should be created more, if we will take even our weekends to discuss. If the American Congress will choose 7 hours to discuss Nigeria, I see no reason we will not take 24 hours to discuss our people. Mr. Speaker, I am sure with what is on ground, we have the capacity. Nigeria is number 30 globally in terms of defense, 3rd in Africa. There is no issue that we cannot contain. It just has to do with coordination. Proper mechanisms should be put in place so that we will face these challenges squared. Mr. Speaker, create a room that employ Nigeria even on a voluntary basis. Today, if you call the young people between the age of 18 to 25, 1 million will turn out to volunteer to finish this crisis and madness in this country. So, Mr. Speaker, I call upon you, distinguished colleagues, that we should look into bringing in the new blood to fight this menace, because it's their generation. It's the generation of the Gen Alpha, Gen Z. Therefore, we must do by what it takes for us to end this madness in our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, and I thank my respected colleagues for listening. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Satome, and I want to align with what you have said. We discussed with the principal officers just shortly before you were given the floor to speak that we will extend this debate to tomorrow. We will only take up to zonal presentations today. Tomorrow it will be general debate where each and every member will be given opportunity to speak. But the only one rule we have, and which I notify members in advance, is that whoever wants to speak, since it is a motion, and we want each and every motion to be well documented, we need you to give us in advance a written submission so that we can call you when the time comes for you to present, and we have a paper to at least capture in our votes and proceedings adequately. So please, all members who have individual contributions, tomorrow throughout will be dedicated for the continuation of the security debate. We will only take security committees today, and zonal contributions are regional. Rest will be tomorrow. So we give as much time as we can, because it's a very important issue that we need to discuss exhaustively and take a final resolution of what we need to do as a house. Thank you very much. The next to speak is Honorable Maki. If Honorable Maki is around, please go ahead.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I'm Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamuru Kaugama constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to speak as a chairman of police affairs, and I'm trying to see that I speak within my scope of jurisdiction. First and foremost, I must commend you, Mr. Speaker, and the past speakers, particularly the Deputy Speaker, who touched almost the aspect of what I was supposed to speak. Mr. Speaker, today we hold a special plenary session on national security at a time we confront a Hydra-headed security challenges across the entire theater of our national life. Mr. Speaker, today we are confronted with harlotry, kidnapping, terrorism, armed robbery, and other security challenges. Their challenges are prevalent in most operational theaters of our society in operation. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, in the entire Northeast, Northwest, North Central, Southeast, and part of the Southwest and South-South, with this security instance become almost daily events. As the chairman of Police Affairs, I'm fully aware challenges facing the Nigerian police force. In its statutory role of internal policing, the country has one of the least police destination in the whole world. The Nigerian police is currently overstretched, underfunded, underarmed, and underpaid. This is coupled with the other institutional challenges also confronted by the Nigerian police. Policing a nation as big as Nigeria with its population it is not a small job. I know that efforts have been made by the police under the current leadership of the Inspector General of Police. I have a personal contact with him. I see how he's struggling to see that at least he corrects some menace in the police formation and command. Mr. Speaker, for us to improve the Nigerian police, it has to start with the recruitment policy. Mr. Speaker, we have to ensure the fit and interested persons are transparent, recruited after the background due process to see that we recruit eligible personnel to the system. Mr. Speaker, also we have to have a rampant renovation of our training institutions nationwide. My honorable colleagues, I want to use this opportunity also to see that there is need for improving the more funding for resource orientation activities of the police through the strengthening of the various intelligence gathering units, recruiting more hands, provision of quality, state and equipping provision of adequate arms and ammunition, improving the response,
congratulations, you have been
capacity development in terms of training and retraining, improving the welfare of the current personnel.
No. Come and sit here. It's a big promotion.
My honorable colleagues, in summary, there is need for more funding in police formation and command. Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to draw the attention of my honorable colleagues, particularly the chairman appropriation, chairman finance, and the leadership of this holy chamber, to see that they facilitated in making sure that police funds are being released immediately, sir. Because you can see how they are struggling. Even recently, the commissioner of police in Zamfara was calling me that they need vehicles. Even we're short of vehicles. The IG cannot do anything because there is no any fund. Even their own overhead, sir. Today we are in November, they only received up to July. So please and please, Mr. Speaker, leadership, honorable colleagues, we need to put head together and see that there is more funding, particularly in Nigerian police. Because all what we are discussing of internal security. And internal security is the responsibility of Nigerian police. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. And thank you, my honorable colleagues.
Thank you, Honorable Maki. The next to speak is Honorable Aminu Balele, Chairman Ami, if he's around. Okay, please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my highly respected colleagues, I remain Aminu Balele, member representing Bruce Amako Federal Constituency. I'm from Kaduna State. Who now I'm the Chairman House Committee on Army. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, permit me to sincerely thank the House for graciously convening this special plenary session on national security in service of our people and integrity of our republic. Today we gather not only to interrogate the realities of our enduring security challenges, our shared commitment to the stable and prosperous Nigeria where citizens live free from the anxieties of violence and insecurity. Mr. Speaker, sir, the landscape before us remains complex, evolving, and deeply consequential. From the ravaged cities of Northeast, where insurgency once made Delhi a theater of terror, especially through the suicide bombings, to the criminal onslaught, banditry, and kidnapping in the north.
Honorable Kuye, please effort to disband that
sectional clashes in the
mini
north
conference.
Separatist violence in the southeast, and persistent oil theft and sabotage in the south-south. The trials have been relentless. Yet, in facing these storms, our army has stood firm, recalibrating its strategies, modernizing its tactics, and leading to multi-theater operations across every region. Mr. Speaker, we must acknowledge the profound respect, the monumental achievement of our forces at the forefront of our counter-insurgency. The dark era when suicide bombing ravaged our cities with miserable regularity has given way to new hope and security in many communities. Boko Haram and ISWAP no longer dictate the force of fear in some cities like Maiduguri, Yola, and the culmination of some territories has enabled displaced families to return home. Some schools and markets are open, and the flag of Nigeria to fly as a symbol of resilience. Mr. Speaker, these gains has come through remarkable sacrifice, innovation, and adaptability by joint missions, integrating intelligence and special forces, deployment of rapid response and mobile units into most inaccessible terrain, expansion of indigenous technology such as tactical drones and drone collaboration with vigilant groups and local defenders have succeeded in achieving more than what we expected. Mr. Speaker, however, these challenges, both general and specific, persist. Our valiant troops continue to battle with constraints and inadequate modern equipment and vehicles, advanced communication, and unmanned aerial systems, which are essential for effective ground and air operations. Fatigue and morale issues arise from prolonged deployment as a strained resources stretch the limits of endurance, fragmented intelligence, vulnerable supply.
Chair Army, 1 minute more. Chair Army, 1 minute more, please.
I think I will go and Mr. Speaker, let me quickly summarize some of our prayers. In a spirit of collaboration and transparency, I humbly move a special prayer before the esteemed House under the distinguished leadership of President Abbas to formally invite the Chief of Army Staff for a similar plenary engagement. He has expressed a sincere willingness and passionate interest to engage with the House, offering renowned and professional insight and perspectives on the prevailing security situation as seen from the operational theater. Mr. Speaker, in closing, let me extend deepest appreciation to all honorable members for your steadfast resolve to the leadership of our army forces for implementing dedication and the resilient communities of Nigeria, whose courage inspires our
Army. Time up, please. Time up, please.
Thank you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria ISO Summit.
Honorable Zakaria, Honorable Ibrahim, and the former comrade of Let me not complete because I don't want somebody in Kano to feel offended. Please, let's maintain orderliness, please. Thank you. Honorable Igarue, you are the monitor there, please. Take charge. Is Honorable Balele done? Are you done? You have completed? Thank you very much. The next to speak is the Chairman Navy, Honorable Gadi.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Yusuf Gadi is my
that
name.
You have been supported from the right flank by your good friend.
Yes, sir.
Good to see him near you.
He is a brother, sir. I am Yusuf Gadi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency. I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm happy with you and the leadership of the 10th Assembly under your able leadership for not only creating opportunities for members representing Nigerians to have a decent conversation on the issues bedeviling this country regarding to insecurity. Thank you for your leadership and may God bless you all, the leadership of the 9th Assembly. But with heavy heart, Mr. Speaker, and deep sense of duty, I rise to contribute to this most important debate on the state of insecurity in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, how I wish we will be debating on any other thing instead of insecurity, but this is where we are. Mr. Speaker, recently, our nation is mourning a lot of activities, not because our government is not doing well, and not because our security agencies are not doing well.
Congratulations, you have been promoted to the leadership role. Please come and sit next to Honorable Dogo here and tap wisdom. Please. No, please go ahead. Go ahead. Two leaders are there and you will tap a lot of wisdom. You're welcome. No problem. You can just, okay, so go and sit next to, our leader is there. Just sit there as an honor. And we hope it will be permanent one of these days. Please go ahead, Honorable Gadi.
Thank you, sir. In just last few days, Nigeria has witnessed strategies that should shake every conscience in this chamber. On the 17th of November 2025, armed bandit attacks Government Girls Comprehensive College in Mega.
Order, please. Order, please. Please.
They killed
Order, please.
Principal and kidnapped our school children. This is not an isolated incident, Mr. Speaker. It is not because it is part of over 145 abductions that took place recently in Nigeria, ranging from Kebbi, Niger, Zamfara, and other parts of the country. Mr. Speaker, we know what is happening to our soldiers on the front line, particularly the story of General Musa Uba. Mr. Speaker, from the attack in Kwara, the one in the church, to Kasina Mob's massacre, to mining side attack in Kwara and violent mob in other parts of the country like Edo State that took place some times ago, it is clear that this House needs to do something urgently. Mr. Speaker, the crisis now have several interconnected theaters. When you look at the Northwest and North Central, banditry, mass kidnapping, extortion, and rural terrorism is happening. When you take the Northeast, the issue of Boko Haram and ISWAP, mutation capable of hitting 100 targets. Mr. Speaker, if you go to South-South and maritime domain like oil theft and coastal criminality is happening, just like other parts of Nigeria. But we should ask ourselves, Mr. Speaker, what is going on wrong? We must be honest with ourselves. Under policing and orchestrated and overstretched force, the Chairman Police have mentioned this. We know what is happening to our forces in times of joint operation they are being overstretched. There are not enough manpower to face the situation. Mr. Speaker, in talking about what is wrong, our population is equally exceeding the manpower requirement, and the equipment that our forces have cannot combat insecurity. Mr. Speaker, the failure of safe school framework is equally one of the things that is bedeviling us. Having committed hundreds of billions of naira, yet our schools are still soft targets from bandits and other criminalities in the form of kidnapping. My previous colleagues who speak previously before me have talked about intelligence and technology gaps. Mr. Speaker, too many attacks happened previously in one area, repeating itself because of lack of preventive surveillance and so many other security problems. Mr. Speaker, I will not bedevil us with too much talk, but let me ask this question. What do we need to do as a house? I prefer the following solution to us before concluding. A concrete multi-layer plan is hereby presented. We need an immediate action. A joint resolution of both this House and the Senate to be able to tax the security agencies to come out with operational plan that will be able to address the insecurity and face the House in discussing it with Nigerian people on how we can bring this problem of insecurity and reduce it to the barest minimum. Mr. Speaker, a dedicated family liaison unit to give victim family truthful, timely update is equally important. When you look at what is happening in the social media, it puts the family of those kidnapped children into so many traumas. They don't have a dedicated trauma unit to go and get information that will be able to calm them down. Rather, they rely on information, some of them negatively, being circulated in social media and further aggravate their own trauma. Mr. Speaker, there is need for you having initiated a serious legislative reform. We appreciate you for spearheading security reform, anti-corruption reform, and so many other reforms that have direct nexus with the problem of insecurity. But Mr. Speaker, you need to do more by ensuring that legislative reform is being conducted. Mr. Speaker, under your own leadership too, the capacity, welfare, and accountability effort should equally be escalated. Mr. Speaker, the House, myself inclusive, need to conduct oversight, robust oversight engagement with the security agencies in such a manner that if a budget is approved, let us monitor this budget to see that it is being expanded up to the front line of insecurity, not for those approval to be stopped at the particular level. Support equally the issue of recruitment and additional military personnel should be expanded to an equally standardized casualty notification should equally be made. Mr. Speaker, there is a need for community and preventive approach. One of it is to create a community safety council across state and local government to strengthen intelligence gathering. It's very important for the security agencies to do that. Mr. Speaker, federal government effort and a respectful call for more. We appreciate the effort of the federal government. I must, Mr. Speaker, acknowledge that the federal government have significantly increased funding for defense, internal security, intelligence platform, and new recruitment. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu deserves our commendation for this and for his swift response during the recent attack, for him to stay back and monitor it. Mr. Speaker, our patriotic duty is that we should speak the truth. Nigeria needs much more than what is happening today. Incremental improvement should be made. Our school must be safe, our highway must be safe, our intelligence gathering must be faster, our soldiers must be motivated, and what have you. My message, Mr. Speaker, to Mr. President, having done well, is that he have started well, but the nation requires deeper and faster and more coordinated action. Mr. Speaker, history will judge us for doing better by calling for this conversation and being frank with the situation. We must, Mr. Speaker, as a House, look into insecurity in the face, refuse to normalize the abnormality, and trigger a sustained, measurable, and accountable national response. from the executive arm of government.
Mr. Speaker,
for the sake of KB school girls, for the sake of Brigadier General Musa Uba, for the sake of our farmers in Panshinkanke Kanam that are being killed on a daily basis and other parts of Nigeria, Mr. Speaker, for the sake of our students, for the sake of travelers and vulnerable communities, let's rise and speak the truth and face the insecurity with robust commitment. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. You're welcome, Honorable Gadi. The next to speak is Honorable Alasan, Chairman Air Force.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I remain Right Honorable Kabir Alasan Room. I represent Honorable Kura Kibe Federal Constituency. The Speaker, I am from Kano. The Speaker, my respected colleagues, as the Chairman House Committee on Air Force, by the special grace of God and the permission of the leadership of the House, first and foremost, I will begin by commending the leadership under the Mr. Speaker for convening this very important and timely session dedicated to comprehensive review of the national security situations at a time when our country continues to face escalating threats from insurgency, terrorism, banditry, the kidnapping, sabotage, and the criminality across multiple regions. This session is timely, necessary, and in the best interest of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As Chairman of the Committee on Air Force, I will provide a brief but strategic overview of the operational realities across our major theaters, highlight ongoing security interventions, identify critical gaps, and propose actionable legislative and oversight measures that can strengthen our national security posture. First, in the Northeast, under Operation Hardened Cake, the Nigerian Air Force continues to sustain pressure on Boko Haram, ISWAP, reducing airstrike, ISR missions, and the close air support have been carried out in hotspots such as Sambisa Forest, Timbuktu Triangle, Boga, Baga, Mafra, Dipa, and the Lake Chad ranges. These operations are essential, especially as insurgents continue to exploit rugged terrain and the cross-border self-defense. For the Speaker, my respected colleagues, in the Northwest, mandatory mass abductions and illegal mining remain dominant threats. The Air Force has conducted targeted strikes in Bendungwali, Durmi, Sape, Sapana, and the Kalambana forest edges. Rapid response mission has also supported security operations during our major abduction incidents and highway attacks. However, shifting threat patterns continue to demand improved night operations and forward deployed assets. Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, at the North Central, Pasisa Islands patrol over Plateau, Benue, Nasra, Kogi, and Pembrey aimed communal clashes and monitor kidnapping corridors, especially along the Abuja-Kaduna edges. Yet, the shortage of night-capable aircraft limits through 24-hour responsiveness. Mr. Speaker, my respectable colleagues, in the South and the Gulf of Guinea, the Air Force continues to play a vital role in protecting our economic assets. ISF flights have supported the destruction of illegal refining sites, pipeline tipping points, and the maritime criminality around Brass. Are carefully collaborated to avoid collateral damage in densely populated urban centers. Through intelligence-led engagement, UAV surveillance, and precision targeting, the Air Force has supported efforts to dismantle IED, making hideouts at the armed group camps in locations such as Orlu, Orsu, Ihiala, Usuka, Inewi, and parts of Iboyan State. Air surveillance has also strengthened the work of police and DSS in tracking targeted killings and countering attacks on public infrastructure. For the Speaker, my respected colleagues, despite this effort, numerous constraints continue to undermine optimal performance of the Nigerian Air Force. Funding unpredictability affects procurement, maintenance, fuel supply, technological gaps, particularly in the ISR platform, UAVs, and night-capable aircraft limit situational awareness. High operational tempo has placed pressure on maintenance facilities and personnel. Welfare challenges for the officers and men who are in the front line, housing deficits and medical gaps persist. And finally, concern over collateral damage makes intelligence, validation, and mission planning more demanding. On the positive side, Madam Speaker, my respected colleagues, the Nigerian Air Force has recorded notable achievement. Over 8,600 missiles have been deployed in the last 18 months. New aircraft such as T-129 attack, helicopters, UAVs, DA-62 platform, King aircraft, and the AW-109 trackers are boosting capabilities. Honorable Speaker, my respected colleague, in our country, technical capacity has expanded with the major aircraft inspections and activations now occurring locally. Both local and international training have improved. This development shows significant progress, but also underscores the need for sustained support for the legislator. For the Speaker, my respected colleague, in the light of the realities, I propose the following oversight and legislative measures. First, the airport should be mandated under our committee, as usual, to be providing more quarterly readiness and serviceable report to the National Assembly. Two, the oversight visit that we always carried on was continued, most especially to monitor the runways, hangars, forward operating bases, and the personnel welfare facilities should be intensified. We must also promote integrated intelligence sharing through a national IRS coordinating framework. We should fast-track the establishment of the Air Power Center of Excellence, which I believe will strengthen doctrine development, research, and operational training. Finally, we must legislate predictably multi-year funding for air power modernization. For the Speaker, my respected colleague, Nigerians stand at a critical.
Honorable Alimadaki, can you stand up for recognition, please?
Our obligation as elected representatives of the people is to provide effective oversight, enact purposeful legislation, and ensure that our security agencies have the tools, resources, and accountability framework necessary to protect our citizens nationwide. With the renewed commitment and united legislative front, we can significantly improve our security outcome and restore stability across the nation. For the Speaker, my respected colleagues, I thank you and I thank the leadership of this House for giving us the mandate and the opportunity to serve at the capacity with regards to our armed men and women who are doing their best to protect the sanctity of this great nation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May God bless and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kabir Al-Hassan. The next to speak is Honorable Oshoba, Chairman Judiciary. Justice, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, Olumide Oshoba, representing Abeokuta North, Obafembode, and Odeda Federal Constituency. Let me first of all commend the leadership and Mr. Speaker for this session. And going straight into it, I think all citizens are stakeholders in securing our communities. Intelligence gathering is very important, so our traditional institutions should be involved. And when we say intelligence gathering should be secretive. Once intelligence is given, people should act immediately. I have a few suggestions. We have a lot of youths that are awaiting trial. Let me first of all commend the government for decongesting the correctional facilities, but we need more. We need non-custodial sentences. Now, when I talk non-custodial sentences, people that are awaiting trial for petty crimes, they should be given an option to join the forces, a mandatory one-year service to secure their communities. Those youths, instead of keeping them behind bars awaiting trial for years, they can be given options of serving in the police force, in the army, or in the navy for 1 year. That would help us secure our communities better. Let me commend my previous speakers. Everyone has spoken about solutions, and I believe if we continue this discussion, we'll find solutions to the security challenges in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Shoba. The next to speak, and the final among committees chosen, is the Chairman Customs. But before you speak, Honorable Chairman, can you tell me the secret between this incredible partnership between you and your deputy?
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Lekavich, this is my name. I represent the good people of Yaba Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State, and I am the chairman of the Committee on Custom and Excise, and my deputy is here, happy. So the secret is we do things jointly. Thank you, Your Excellency.
So whatever I can hold you responsible, I can equally hold you responsible, right?
You are right, sir.
You are one and the same.
One and the same.
You are joint and separately together.
He is from Kano and from Kano.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. We are accordingly guided.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I noticed that anytime we talk of security, Nigerian Customs Service is always omitted. And to me, is a mistake, because most of these weapons that these non-state actors uses come either through the land borders, both approved and non-approved borders. Also by seaports and airports. That is why the custom is so critical in fighting insecurity. Just recently, we had a program called CPACT. That is Custom Partnership African Cooperation in Trade. And what they are trying to do is to bring all the customs heads and custom commission in Africa together, so that if there's any movement of unauthorized goods coming maybe from South Africa to Nigeria, it has to pass through some border before it gets to Nigeria. So it must not be Nigeria Custom that must arrest such unaccustomed goods. And this program took place in the villa. I was there, and all the custom heads in Africa came. So this is one way to fight this menace. And if custom is not being called all the time, the security chief to the villa, I believe our work is not well done. Because what they use to fight is the weapons and ammunition. They cannot fight with bare hands. And they come through importation. Recently, Nigeria Custom intercepted guns on airports. For what? Is to come and cause insecurity in our land. I want to suggest that for our borders to be well monitored and for these weapons not to move freely within Nigeria, there is need to also make custom to be what? More proactive than they are now. And what do they need? They need support as well, just like the military. One of the major problems that we are trying to, not mention in this insecurity that is ravaging the country is to talk about our family size.
Thank you.
I was discussing.
Time.
I was given 3 minutes.
1 minute remain.
Okay. I was just discussing with my colleagues that all these bandits originate from some homes, and they are not from heaven. Somebody gave birth to them. I was listening to one video whereby they said they want to go and meet the mother of the bandit's head. I was shocked. Does it mean somebody is having a relationship with somebody killing people in the bush. So there's need for us to look at our family size, just like other countries that we compare our developmental stage with, like China, like the United States of America, like UK, so that all these children that we cannot train, that have not become a source of problem to us, will be controlled. This is my own suggestion to this discussion. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Leken. We are done with the committee-led thematic presentations. The next to speak is no other than the only Sardauna Ariwa Metuta, the leader, the regional leader of our North Caucasus. You have 5 minutes, sir.
You have 5 minutes, Sardauna.
And please, Kumu will hold you responsible if he exceeds by 1 second.
To please, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, GCON ESZO, the Speaker of the House of Nigerian People. I want to first of all thank you for this initiative. Mr. Speaker, which of course is giving opportunities to members representing their own people to speak for the people and speak for the constituents, for their constituents. Let me first of all, Mr. Speaker, identify as the same Honorable Ado Dogwa. Mr. Speaker, I am representing the people of Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. I am of APC extraction from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I feel appropriate to mention my political identity in this very important discourse because I would not like anyone out there on the street or someone listening to me on the audio to mistake me for an opposition. I am not an opposition. I am a member of the APC, ruling APC in Nigeria. I am also a member, by extension, of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A member of this great parliament also, which has the APC as a dominant factor. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I have to say so because I will be speaking here today as a member of the APC, not of particular concern, but with a particular concern. An APC member speaking with a particular concern, Mr. Speaker. And the concern today, as I understand, is about the security of lives and property of the Nigerian people. Mr. Speaker, I have heard briefs and submissions by the relevant committee chairman here about the situation of Nigeria's security architecture. Good, Mr. Speaker. I am not out to say no to their submission. Of course, that is what they have to report to this House. But when you are speaking, Mr. Speaker, from the point of view of Nigerian people, one must be prepared to call a spade a spade. Mr. Speaker, I am therefore prepared to say that no matter what the government does, my government, led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC government, my party, and despite all the submissions of the efforts of all security agencies that were meant here through their respective chairmen, I want to say that yes, the government is doing its best. The security agencies are doing their best. But I want to say with every sense of responsibility and without any fear of equivocation that their best is not good enough. It is not good enough because the security situation in Nigeria today, Mr. Speaker, it is horrific. Mr. Speaker, our security situation is tragic. Mr. Speaker, the security situation, especially in the north where I come from, is devastating. Mr. Speaker, our situation in Nigeria today in the area of security is unspeakable. It's unspeakable because our people are left ravaged in serious tension, fear, and desperation, all because we are lacking and reneging in our institutional and collective responsibility as a government. Mr. Speaker, the fact remains the same, and like every one of you here would say, that the responsibility of every democratic or elected government, even military governments, Mr. Speaker, fundamental responsibility of government is the security of life and property of its own people. Mr. Speaker, what we have today is like a failed security. What we have today, in my opinion and in my views, Mr. Speaker, is like for me to quote in the words of the popular Bob Marley in his own song in those days in the 80s, when he was saying, war in the north, war in the west, war in the east, and war down south. Mr. Speaker, today, Nigeria is operating under a complete war against humanity. And this House must not only continue to chant slogans, move motions, take contributions from members. We must have to step up and rise up to the expectation of our own people. And that expectation must be beyond making pronouncement on the floor. Mr. Speaker, we have to step our institutional mandate. We have to step our institutional commitment and determination to protect the lives of the vulnerable people. Mr. Speaker, you rightly said in your remarks that you were in Kebbi State. As God may have it, Mr. Speaker, I went to Kebbi with you. I saw how the governor of Kebbi, who is the chief security officer of the state, speaking to the delegation of this honorable house in nostalgia, Mr. Speaker, with a very heavy heart. At a point, I would not miss to say, I will not be mistaken to say that I saw the governor weeping in the heart. This will be the same situation everywhere you go in the south or in the north or in the east or down in the west. Mr. Speaker, our governors are not only overwhelmed, it's like they cannot even do it. The responsibility of security, Mr. Speaker, of course, by the constitutional provision, it is a sole responsibility, more of a sole responsibility to the center. I agree with whoever may say, of course, governors in the sub-national are also accountable and they must be held responsible for the security of lives and properties of their people. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in virtually all of our constituencies, given the opportunity, everyone here can write to tell you the account of what is happening. Mr. Speaker, it is not religious. Mr. Speaker, it is not even political. This fight and this menace of insecurity in Nigeria is something that does not have any identification of one's party or one's religion or one's tribe whatsoever. It is a calculated attempt to demoralize the Nigerian state. And if care is not taken, Mr. Speaker, even for those of us who take politics more seriously, we'll have a very big question to answer at the end, because it is like this unnecessary insecurity going on. This is a high level of conspiracy targeting our political processes. As we're approaching 2027, Mr. Speaker, we will all be expected to have a peaceful conduct of our polls. How do you have that if our communities, local communities, are plunged into crisis, into banditry, into kidnappings in the churches, in the mosque, even down in the oil-producing area, which is our economic live wire? Production of oil, crude oil, is being unfortunately undermined by militia groups. So it is like a collective thing that we must put our hands on deck and call whoever is responsible, sir, to order. Order, order, and order. And this House must not take for granted that we are not part of the government. If the government is wanting, this institution of the legislature is a component of the government itself. We have to look inward to ourselves and see what more of oversight functions, like some members have said, are we going to make? Are we going to provide? Mr. Speaker, we can even declare legislative emergency. Close the House, shut it off. Who are you legislating for? What laws are you making when the country is running in blood? The country is running in blood and tears. You cannot go, the farmers cannot go to farm. Our traders cannot go to market. Worshippers cannot go to mosque, cannot go to churches. Then what are you legislating here? Mr. Speaker, if the government is not prepared to actually do the right thing that will protect the lives and property of our people, I urge on you, I urge on this honorable House, as a House of the people of Nigeria, to stand up to pay the supreme cost. And that is no more than to shut this House down,
and to call emergency on any legislative issue and wait until the right thing is taken by the government of the day. Mr. Speaker, I also want to believe we are equally responsible. We should also go down to our constituencies and lead civil organizations, like the civil vigilante. Let's go and reorganize our vigilante groups. We take commands and take charges of such civil organizations to see how we can salvage and protect our country, Nigeria. What is happening today, Mr. Speaker, is not just to call for mere security or an average performance of security agencies. What we expect of Nigerian government, no more, no less, my Speaker, is to have absolute security. It's for us to have absolute safety. Mr. Speaker, Nigeria must have absolute protection of the lives and property of our people. This is my take, Mr. Speaker, and I also want to use the opportunity to tell you that my immediate constituency, which is enclaved at the southern part of my state, Kano, is also undergoing serious danger, because in the constituency we have what we call the huge Falgore Game Reserve, lying in between Kaduna State, Plateau State, Bauchi State, through Ningi and Bura, Mr. Speaker, and also contacting some part of Jigawa State to the axis of Turkey. This place used to be a tourist attraction. Many people coming, including tourists from abroad. But because of the dilapidating security situation in my state, Mr. Speaker, today, abduction and kidnappings, not only in the forest, in our home, has become a daily affair, a daily occurrence. Just like what the pharmacist may prescribe to you in the hospital to ask you to take Panadol, one in the day, in the morning, one in the afternoon, and another one in the evening. That is how kidnapping is so prevalent in my federal constituency. This place that used to be an attraction for tourists, it has now become like an extension of the Sambisa forest in Borno State. So we have to definitely do something. Mr. Speaker, I may not have enough time to continue my submission, but I want to thank you so much for giving our members this opportunity to speak. And I also want to urge members to continue in the spirit we have started. I have not seen anybody here speaking as a southern member of the House of Reps. I have not seen anyone here speaking as a northern member of the House of Reps. I am the leader of the Northern Caucus, Northern Regional Caucus. I am also not speaking as a member representing the northern part of this country. The security challenges that we are facing is a colossal one, it's a collective one that has to do with the Nigerian nation. And we must step up to that expectation and deal with this matter once and for all. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you, and I want to thank honorable members for listening to me. And I also want to further tell you that I have not lost my hope in the renewed hope agenda. I'm still a proud member of the APC.
No, we can see from your cap, we know you are a strong believer.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much.
Point of order, we need to correct something.
What's your point of order, yes?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the permission to address this. While I commend the celebrated Honorable Odugwa, it's important to note that we are the hope of Nigerians, the Parliament. We are the fulcrum of democracy. Doesn't matter how emotional we get, doesn't matter how burdensome the problem is. We cannot argue that the Parliament should be shut down because the problem is much. This is the solution hub of the nation. I want to say that we should be careful in projecting what might be misunderstood by the people outside this chamber. Mr. Speaker, no problem is too big for the Parliament to handle. We will not shut the Parliament. We will stay here together because we have best brains gathered from all over the country. We will find solutions to our problems. We have faced stronger problems before now, Mr. Speaker. Last dispensation, upper dispensation, we faced problems. We never shut the Parliament. It will not be this time that the Parliament will be shut. We are capable, we are able, we will find solutions to our problem under your leadership. We will not close the door. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Your Excellency. No, it is not subject of debate. is an opinion just like you made your own opinion. What I want the press to know, that whoever has spoken is speaking on his personal standing. It's not a resolution of the House, because we are not putting to vote any aspect of these motions. So it should be regarded as contributions. At the end of these debates, we will now look at all the areas I put to question and then come up with resolution of the House. So anything that is being mentioned here is just a mere opinion of the Speaker, not the General House. So please let it be taken note of accordingly. Thank you very much. The next to speak is Honorable Inolin, right? Honorable Victor for the South.
Mr. Speaker, respected honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Victor Nwokolo, member representing Ika Northeast, Ika South Federal Constituency of Delta State. I start by thanking Mr. Speaker and the principal officers for this great initiative to address a major concern of all Nigerians, including those here and those that are not here. Let me say that I align with virtually what the earlier speakers have said, that the security architecture of the nation have actually failed. It has failed in its entirety. What is, like my brother Adedowa said, what's happening in the north exactly is happening in the south. There is no southern part of Nigeria that you can be to say it is safe. Outside Lagos, every other state is troubled in the south. Before going into details of what is happening in the three segments of the south, let me commend the southwest governors for taking the bull by the horn. At least they've been able to unite themselves. They've been able to form a strong guard, the Amotoko Security Corps, which are, sincerely speaking, if they had not been there, it would have been a different story today. Ogun State, Osun State, Ekiti State, Ondo State, they are not left out. It's been all the same story. Coming to South-South, where I come from, the Delta, who are not spared at all. Ranging from Uyeli, from Olomu, there's problem there. You go to, there's also problem. Coming to a camp where a lot of people have been killed. At the end of the day, nothing happens. In fact, it's so worrisome that you go to police say they are coming, their vehicles are never around because they don't have what it takes to match them. Of course, you wouldn't blame the police, but the indigenous are also part of our problems. So we need a complete reorientation because it is the indigenous, the people driving Chaba, Okada, whatever name you may call it in your own area, that gives information to the kidnappers that they use in operating. They are also the ones they will say, going to buy them food, buying them suya. Because when you find them, they dictate the kind of food they want to eat. They are not, this is not the kidnappers that go to Mr. Biggs or whatever to buy the food. It is indigenous. That's why we talk about the orientation. Yes, the architectures are failed, but what are we doing as our own people? The indigenous of the area, we need to sit up. Without that one, the government cannot do it alone. How many policemen do we have in a station that we are relying on the police? Is it the civil defense we are going to rely on? What are their numbers? It's only recently, because of outcry of Nigerians, who are talking about recruitment. This recruitment ought to have been done long before now. So I'm also happy that they are talking about thousands of recruitment to the Nigerian army, into civil defense, into immigration and all that. Recruitment is another thing. But let me say that we must take due diligence in the posting, even after the recruitment. So I need to say here that you discover that the bulk of the job is done by the rank and file. By the rank and file that is being posted today are posted in the areas where they don't even hear their language. Without the knowledge of the local language, you cannot penetrate the syndicate. So we need the commanders who be from anywhere but the rank and file that are involved in day-to-day operation must be people that hear at least one or two languages of the environment where they have been posted to. Without it, we won't make headway. What we do now, thank God for the government of President Asuwaju, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for what he has done. The kind of money in the hands of local government is more than they have ever received before. Maybe we may have to come up with a law where stipend must be recommended for the vigilante groups to strengthen them. Because there are some communities, they can't even get fuel, they can't even afford fuel. So these vigilante groups, they need to be funded from the local government as a way of encouraging them to do the job. Once they are funded, I'm sure they will be able to do good work with the policemen. Government, on their own part, yes, the roads are unsafe, the roads are unsafe. The roads are unsafe. It is time for the government to take immediate decision. What do we do with our roads? All over the world, only the government cannot fund the maintenance of our roads. If they are going to give it to private sectors, repair the roads, tow the roads, will get the money, so that by the time you are traveling, because you discover that if the number of kidnapping that has been recorded between Lokoja and Okene is worrisome, the only way out of it is let's get government to come and improve our infrastructures, or get private people, businessmen who will do it, and the roads will be better than what we are seeing. Only about a month ago, 4 directors of Ministry of Defense, they were kidnapped. I don't want to talk about those who are coming from call to bar ceremonies, they were all kidnapped. They get to where the roads are bad, and they get there. So we need government to take immediate decision. It's not all the roads government will be able to do. What do we do? Invite private investors, maintain the road, do it, recover our money over a period of time, and so that we move further. Again, yes, you invite the service chiefs, they all come here. There is good collaboration at their own level. They have not been able to drive that collaboration down the ranks. I'll give you an example. By the grace of God, and by the discretion of the House, I belong to the Security Committee of the House. During the budget defense, we all agreed what do we do to assist the various agencies under our own federal constituencies. And it's okay. The way to encourage them, maybe from our own budgetary provisions, we'll make provision for offices, we'll make provisions for barracks. It is happening to note that one of the projects in my federal constituency have been stopped. The policemen say that where the project is cited belongs to them. It will not continue. Their project has been stopped today. If there's collaboration, somebody is building something for the maybe civil defense, Department of State Security, and you know it's to make your sister organizations comfortable, and you are not stopping it. Is there collaboration among them? So the service chiefs must learn to drive collaboration among the various services down the drain, so that there will be more collaboration. At times, even sharing information, they fight who is in charge, who is not in charge. Oh, we are going to arrest, if you arrest. So these service chiefs have a duty to do. They need to drive it down the drain. Of course, recently, the Mr. President created Ministry of Livestock. Today, he must be able to distinguish where are we going to. Marry the issue of colony and ranching together. So that by the time it is done, I'm sure that we'll get it better defined. It is necessary so that these issues, because it's all borders on security, of course, owners of cows must learn again to return to the traditional way. Those who take care of their cows, in those days, they used to give them maybe 1 or 2 cows at the end of the year. They fall back on it. But today, you discover that when you interview them, sir, because if you're a security man, you must find out what are their problems. They now pay them peanuts. So they are not longer encouraged. Because they are paying them peanuts, they are willing to be used by the money. Therefore, sir, I want to appeal that we should look at that. And once we do that, South is also not left out. You go to Olo, there's a problem. You go to Kigwe, there's also a problem. Coming towards Enugu, where you have boundary with Benue State, there are also problems. Sir, we need a holistic approach. And I'm sure that by the time we take some of these measures, we talked about border. The border is essential. If you have been to Cotonou border or any of these borders, you discover that the harm the chabas, the Okada drivers do is more than anybody can contend with. If it can be enforced for them to stop the use of Chaba Okada at our borders, because they are the ones that they weaponize our own country. Yes, coming with trucks, customs to a reasonable extent are able to intercept. But what about the ones being hidden under the seats of the motorcycles? How do you discover them? Because they get there, they easily arrest them. So for the want of time, I want to stop here, and I believe that we should throw away issue of religion, we should throw away issue of party, and see whether we can fall back to the model of Jonathan, President Goodluck Jonathan. You know, in 2020, before he left office, we were almost getting to the point where the nation will be free. But because of issue of one thing or the other, let's throw sentiments away and see how much we can go to bring back the qualified people that can help us address the situation. Mr. Speaker, I say thank you for the opportunity of hearing my opinion.
Thank you, Honorable Victor. Speaking on behalf of the Southern Caucus of this great House, Honorable colleagues, this is where we're going to draw the curtain for the day. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, we will continue this debate, and we will start with the 6 zonal caucus leaders who will be making presentation on behalf of the 6 geopolitical zones, after which we will open the floor for all members individually who may have issues either with their states or with their constituencies to speak and also give advice that hopefully at the end of this exercise we'll collect, come up with a resolution and forward to the executive for implementation. I want to again and again inform the press that whatever is being said today and whatever will be said tomorrow, either individually or representing committees or caucuses, remain opinions of those who spoke. It is not the collective position of the House. So no press should go and say, the House has resolved to take XYZ decision. We have not called for any votes. We didn't put any question on all the issues raised today because they are mere contributions of the House. At the appropriate time tomorrow, we'll take decision on those areas that we agree collectively, and that is where we will inform the general public of our positions. Thank you so much, honorable colleagues, for being here and for all the contributions you have made. Tomorrow, 11, we will continue. So without any waste of time, I'll call on the chairman, rules and business to move that the House adjourn plenary to tomorrow, Wednesday, 11 a.m.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Francis A. Girogane, Viber is my name. Uvele North, Uvele South, do Federal Constituency. I rise to move that the House do adjourn plenary to tomorrow, 11 a.m., same place. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Before I ask the leader, the minority leader, Honorable Kaoji, I want you to get up, please. Stand up, please. Respect the House and stand up. Now come out. Come out, please. Walk on this side, please. When you reach where I want you to be, I will ask you to... Minority leader, please kindly second.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do stand adjourned to tomorrow to continue with the debate on insecurity in Nigeria. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. That's it. House has adjourned to tomorrow, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Thank you.
All right, that has been a very robust debate right in the House of Representatives, which has just concluded its special session dedicated to discussing national security. And of course, we have heard lawmakers on the floor today who have emphasized that as a nation, we need to avoid being divided along religious or ethnic lines and to focus on collective national interests. We have had lawmakers speak to the fact that we cannot fight the battle against insecurity without unity. We have also had calls for us to unite and remove the toga of religion or partisan politics and wear the toga of Nigeria first as we work towards addressing our security challenges as a nation. We have heard kidnapping to ensure that they do not get updates, random updates from the social media. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has emphasized that the House has not taken a resolution on its debate today, and that in the course of the week the House will come up with a resolution after it has harmonized all the positions presented today by the various House committees as well as the various caucus leaders. And that's where we thank you for your time and for being with us on this special live telecast of debate plenary session of the House of Representatives on national security. My name is Mitaire Ikben, and on behalf of NTA's outside broadcast crew, thank you for watching as we now hand you over to our studios for a continuation of our program schedule for the day.